This is, as you guys may have heard, Justin the tar-faced Mac Daddy Trudeau has apologized for his role in allowing that old Nazi from Ukraine into the parliament and allowing him to be referred to as a freedom fighter. You all remember the trucker convoy, which, by the way, I support. And if a situation arises like what happened during those lockdowns, I would want the trucker convoy to come back and be even worse than it was. And Trudeau called them Nazis. You know, he saw one person with a swastika and he decided to call all of them Nazis, even though, number one, there was proof, because I have the video of someone in a mask with that dirty Confederate flag trying to make us all look like Confederates. And when he was called out, he ran away. You know, you see, Trudeau, that's number one. Number two, you know, one person with a swastika, even if it was a legitimate Nazi, which I don't believe it was, but even if it was, one person with a swastika and you refer to all of them as Nazis, that doesn't make sense unless you want me to say that your father, Pierre the cuckold Trudeau, who couldn't keep his wife, whose wife cheated on him with every famous American politician and male politician under the sun, Kennedy and all those, we couldn't keep his wife, was running around in a Nazi uniform in World War II. Okay, well, that means all the Trudeau family's Nazi. You want to play that game? I can play it too. But Trudeau calls those trucker convoy people Nazis, fighting for freedom. But this Nazi from Ukraine, he calls a freedom fighter because he's on the side of globalist Ukraine with a president that wears green pajamas and who's a tranny. You know, I'm sure Justin the tar-faced Mac Daddy Trudeau would refer to me as a Nazi because I support the truckers. You know, most left-wing elitist globalists refer to populists like myself as Nazis, or anybody who disagrees with them, they're referred to as Nazis as a way to shut them up, to scare them. Nobody wants to be called a Nazi. So if you disagree with me, instead of rebutting you with actual points, I'll just call you a Nazi. I'm going to call the office of the prime minister. It's a Jewish group, a Jewish organization that exposed this old man as being a Nazi. If it was the commander-in-chief of Arana nation, a nation with the population walks barefoot because the land is so holy, if it was me who exposed this guy, you would say I'm saying fake news and you'd probably block me. It's happened before. So if that hadn't happened, if the Jewish organizations, which I'm sure you guys are afraid of, didn't expose this guy, would I have not been considered a Nazi if I said I support this guy who is a Nazi? Let's call the prime minister's office. They probably won't even answer.
Not possible to put you in contact with an official at this time. However, you may wish to leave a message. Please be assured that we will give it our utmost attention. Vous avez joint la boîte vocale du Premier ministre. Le Premier ministre aime obtenir les commentaires des Canadiennes et des Canadiens sur les enjeux qui leur concernent.
They can't put me in touch with an office with somebody to talk to. 3:56 in the day, and nobody from the PMO can talk because they know that. Hey, Prime Minister's office. This is Michael Arana, Commander-in-Chief of Arana Nation, the nation where the people walk barefoot because the ground is so holy. I'm calling because I want to ask you a very, very important question. And if you could hear me out, and then maybe if you have the courage to even respond, maybe you can. If not, I'm sure you don't. But let me ask the question. You see, Trudeau and his liberals and his liberal speaker clapped hands for a Nazi, an old Nazi, because you guys were so determined to support anything Ukrainian. And that, you have such a deep hatred for people on opposite side of the argument, and you want so badly to spite them that you lost all control of your senses and clap hands for a Nazi and call him a freedom fighter. Your speaker did. But then the truckers who were fighting for freedom in Ottawa, rightfully so, you call them Nazis. A person who fights for Hitler's SS is a freedom fighter. Truckers who call for freedom from no good lockdowns over a virus that kills less than 1% of people who get it are called Nazis. You say that somebody was flying a Nazi flag in the truck convoy, and then you say that all of those people are now Nazis. Trudeau's father wore a Nazi uniform in World War II. So are all the Trudeaus Nazis? But anyway, we know that that's a nonsense thing. But anyway, I'm sure Justin thinks I'm a Nazi because I support the truckers 100%. Would he not consider me a Nazi if instead of supporting the truckers, I support this Ukrainian who fought for Hitler's SS? And I'm sure you would say, well, we didn't know. Well, let me tell you. You guys should have done your research before you bring any old person off the street in Parliament and clap for them. But you see, you people, you liberal globalists are so immature. You're so immature and so unwilling and lazy to listen to other points of view that you hear that the globalist elitist mantra is to support Ukraine. And anybody who says anything otherwise, you want to ignore them, destroy them, censor them, maybe even kill them. The same thing with coronavirus. Any other point of view, you don't want to hear it. You guys are so immature and don't want to hear any other views that you lose your control of your good judgment. And somebody who says, I support Ukraine over Russia, you clap hands for them, even though they are Nazi. You don't even want to do research on them. You don't do any research on them because he says he supports Ukraine and he doesn't like Russia. Oh, well, good. And I bet you if it was me who warned you that this guy is no good, you would probably censor me, not these Jewish groups, which you're afraid of. So if I support this guy, would you not consider me a Nazi? And I know you're not going to answer back to me. You're not going to respond to this because you know I am right. The fact of the matter is you people clap hands for Nazis, and Trudeau, in my opinion, his sorry doesn't mean anything. He's just as responsible. In fact, it's pretty sad and cowardly of him to put his speaker under the bus and he gets to go free. How can the prime minister put the speaker under the bus? The buck stops with the prime minister. He could have told speaker, this man is not coming in here. The prime minister is the most powerful person in the country. And you want to throw your speaker under the bus. And Trudeau gets to continue going on. Let me tell you, his father was a Nazi sympathizer who dressed up in Nazi uniform and a motorcycle. The pictures are all over the internet. And now his son claps hands for Nazis because his son and his supporters are too immature.
You may now hang up to send your message. To review your message, press 2. To re-record your message, press 3. To set the sensitivity for this message, press 7.
No, there's that. I took up all the time, rightfully so.